So welcome to question number 5 in the 2025 biology GCE paper 2. So this question was came from genetics. So it says a man who had normal vision married a woman also with normal vision. Yeah, so both the man and the woman had normal vision. They had a color blind son. So they had a color blind son. Then color blindness is sex linked using alleles X capital B, in other words dominant, and X lowercase, that is recessive. Predict the genotypes of the man and his wife. Now the only possible way that the man and woman who are normal for vision can have a child who is colorblind is that when the mother is actually a carrier. Remember, these sex linked conditions, color blindness being a sex linked recessive trait is only carried on the X chromosome. So it is a recessive trait that is carried on the X chromosome and not on the Y chromosome. So predict the genotype, what is inside the genes of the man and the woman. So in case of the man, we would actually say it was X, he was normal, so it would actually be capital B and Y. So this had normal vision. All right, then for the wife, in this case, for them to have a son who is colorblind, it simply means that she was a carrier. She was normal but carrier for the allele that causes color blindness. And remember, a woman has got XX, so therefore she will have capital B and small b. She was normal. She was normal but a carrier of the allele that causes color blindness. So these are the possible genotypes of the man and the wife. Now B says, draw a genetic diagram to show how this was possible. So how was this possible? So you can do a full genetic diagram. You can start maybe P1, the first parental generation. So I can start with the pheno. We can actually start with the phenotype. So when I talk about the phenotype, in this case, the phenotype, in this case, I can simply say it's a man, crossing with, his wife. So the man was actually normal vision. Even the wife also had normal vision. That's the phenotype, the physical appearance. So the next thing that you go to is what we call as being the genotype. What is inside of the genes? So for the genotype for the man, it will be X capital B and Y. Then for the wife, it will be X capital B, then again X lowercase b in that case. So when the process of meiosis takes place, it will give rise to what we are calling as being sex cells or gametes. So these are going to be separated. So I can use capital B. I love to circle to show that they have actually separated Y there, and even there it is going to be capital B, and there that is going to be lowercase b there. So that's what we're having. Then of course random combination of the gametes will take place. They'll combine randomly. So therefore this will combine with that, this will combine with the last one, and this will combine with the first one, and this will combine with the last one. So therefore you are going to have F1, the first fetal generation, the first children to be produced. What is their genotype? So the first thing that you see is simply their genotype. So in this case, you just follow them religiously. X capital B, X capital B, then this one will be X capital B and X small b there. And if you look at this one, it will be X capital B. You don't start with Y. Remember, chromosomes in males are written as X, Y. So it will be X capital B and Y. Then there it will be X small b and Y. So you can see in this case when we talk about the phenotype, when you look at this one, this one is actually a normal, let me just say a normal female. This one is also a normal female carrier, a normal female carrier. Then this one is a normal male. That's what you need to remember. Then this one is actually color blind. So this is a colorblind son that we have. So you can see from the genetic diagram that you are able to avoid, this. So since it says draw a genetic to show how this is possible. So if you look at this one, we can even predict the probability of having, in this case, a colorblind son. So how many colorblind are there? It's only one out of the total number of offspring, which is 4. If you take it as a percentage, if you want, it's 1/4 multiplied by 100%, which is going to give you 25%. So it is possible that when both are normal, they can have a child who is actually colorblind, just like it has actually been shown there. All right, so this is what they wanted you to do. So do a good full genetic diagram, and that was Karen, 5 marks, 1 mark, 1 mark there. Then let's conclude and try to look at the C part. So the C part says one of the causes of color blindness is mutation. So they want you to define mutation. So remember, mutation is simply we can simply say it is a sudden, spontaneous, or I can just say spontaneous change. Yeah, spontaneous change in the number of chromosomes. So the spontaneous change in the number of chromosomes or structure of a gene. So that's what we mean. So the spontaneous change in the number of chromosomes or the structure of a gene. Remember, we are talking about the chemical composition of a gene. Remember, in a gene, you find that there are actually nitrogenous bases such as adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine, and so on and so forth. So there could be a change that can happen suddenly. Now, what are the causes? So this is where C comes in. It says explain one cause of mutation. There are so many causes of mutation that you can talk about. One, we can talk about maybe exposure to radiation. The question was asking you just one: exposure to too much radiation, exposure to too much X-ray. Sometimes you can talk about what we are calling as being viruses are also able to cause what we are calling as being mutation. We can also talk about chemicals such as dyes and also preservatives. When a person is actually exposed for too long a period, they may also end up causing what we are calling as being mutation. So this is what you needed to do. Yeah, sometimes you don't have to learn everything, but you just need to use the ideas that you have actually studied in order for you to answer questions. So it's not everything that you have to study, but just ideas that you have, you can actually apply them in answering questions in the exam. Hopefully we get to meet as we try to look at some questions in the essay section B, the essay question type of section. I'm sure you are able to see some of the questions that actually came in this exam. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do, please you can subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching.